Hey guys, it's Eddie Lean here. In this video, I'm very excited to show and share with you a strategy on how you can become a property millionaire in under 5 years. I'm going to take you through a few different strategies today, of which I've actually used myself to build my property portfolio over the last decade plus. As you can see here, very excited. You can see on the whiteboard, I literally drew a few different figures out and examples, which are basically real life examples, year 1, year 2, 3, 4, and 5. The exact properties it takes to build a property portfolio. This is just 4 properties as an example. Many people try to, get to 6, 10, 20, 30. I've got about 80 in my portfolio right now, but this is on a very small scale. Basically, I'm going to show you how to make your first $1 million. If you're a young person, if you're a teenager, 21, 22, in your early 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever it is, you want to become, as an example, a millionaire through property, this is the video that I was actually going to explain some of the strategies that I've used myself to get there. All from essentially starting with as little as 100,000 in savings. So this is not obviously financial advice, any of this video, and before we start this, I'm going to put a disclaimer saying it's not financial advice. To jump right into it as an example, what I've drawn on the whiteboard right here is you can see the starting point with the 4 examples of properties that we're going to go through. Picture that you're starting off as an example with just 100,000. So you might be a person that is 26, 28, 30, whatever it may be, but if you've got about 100,000 in savings, this is showing you that even if you just buy 4 properties and assuming you stop and don't buy any more, then you'll still become a millionaire even if you just buy 4 properties. If you've seen or read the book 30 Properties Before 30, I got up to 30 properties before the age of 30. Many people think it's just a numbers game. You have to get to 20, 30, 40, 50 properties, but not necessarily. You can still make $1 million plus in real estate and become literally a millionaire and have a net worth of $1 million plus within 5 years, even just buying 4 properties. Let's assume that you're a person, you're starting out, and you're on an average kind of wage. As an example, you can get borrowing for, say your borrowing capacity is hypothetically 700,000. And let's say a person is hypothetically on 80,000, 90,000, whatever it may be. Assuming you've got 100,000 in savings, you might have seen this in other videos, but you can essentially take that 100,000 and split it into 2 deposits. So if you take 100K, split it in half, 50,000 a piece. 50,000, essentially, let's just say you buy property number 1, which is 240,000. Now you might be thinking, where the hell can you find a property for $240,000? Right now, I'm buying properties every single day of the week for myself and for clients in Perth. Might not be a house, might be a unit or a townhouse or a villa, but you can pick up really good affordable properties for these prices. And the reason which I've done strategically to show you and given these weird prices, 240, 260, 557, 245, 252, is because these actual prices are legitimate prices of properties that I bought this year in Perth myself. And we bought hundreds and hundreds of other properties, similar price points. You might have seen one of the other videos that I've done years ago, probably about 2 years ago now, is basically how to buy 10 properties in under 3 years, and we had a very similar timeline right here. The amount of comments has probably got over 100,000 views. If you haven't seen that video, click on the link and check out that video as well. It goes for about 25 minutes, very in-depth, and it's probably one of the best videos that I've done. Fortunately, now I'm trying to do some more very in-depth kind of whiteboard sessions, videos with those kind of in-depth strategies, because it's been literally 2 years since that last one. But essentially, as we go through these types of properties, there's going to be the actual photos of what they look like when I bought them. You'll be able to see that you can get properties for 240, 265, 557, 245 in metro areas that are below market value with massive capital growth and in very, very good locations. You don't need to buy out in the middle of whoop whoop or regional areas. This property right here was in one of the most expensive suburbs in Perth. It's actually located at this particular one, I'll tell you. Behind the scenes secrets, that one's in Mossman Park. And bought this property for 240,000. Clients that I presented it to didn't actually want it. I've showed it to like 4 to 5 clients. They knocked it back because it was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 1-car space unit. But I bought it and then I got it valued literally $310,000 in under, it was like literally 2 months that I got it revalued and got the higher valuation because I bought it below market value. So let's assume you buy the first property. In terms of the timeline, you've got 100K, the clock is ticking. So it's year 1 right now. Let's assume literally you either pair up with a buyer's agent or you find the property on your own, like I did. Let's assume you buy the property for 240,000. Now the deposit, let's assume you do a 10% deposit. So if you can see that there, 240,000, a 10% deposit is 24K, right? 10% plus stamp duty, legal fees, pest and building inspections. I've rounded this up to, I think it was like 41 it'll come to, including costs. So out of 100K, I've spent $41,000. But because out of the 3 keys which you must buy all properties from is buying properties that are under market value with strong capital growth in metro locations and with a very high rental yield. When I bought this property for $240, I ended up getting it rented out for $380 a week. So the yield was like 8, almost 9%. So it covered itself in terms of expenses. So if you people out there saying, how do you get the finance? What yields are these? And your property's going to be losing money, etc. These are all high yields. That's what I want you to understand. These are 7, 8, 9% rental yields. So they cover the mortgages at 6, 6.5% because the yields are 8.5 or 9%, right? Basically, a way to do this as an example, you buy a property for $240,000, which you can still get these properties in today's market. If you don't believe us, jump on the website and you'll see recent examples that we picked up for clients: off market, urgent sales, distress sales, bank repossessions, so on and so forth. Bought the property for $240, got it valued at $310. Now you can see the original loan on this property, if you did a 90% loan, 240 minus 24 is 216. Getting it valued at $310,000, 310, you take it up to 90%, the loan becomes 279. How you work this out, and this is very basic to me, but for those of you who haven't seen this before, it's called loan to value ratio. If you don't understand what that is, check out the hundreds of other videos that I've got that explains a little bit more in depth, thoroughly about how to figure this out and how to find out how much equity you can get out of your properties when you buy them below market or when the market moves in value. Your loan was 216, your new loan's 279, or you get a loan top up or a side loan, you can release $63,000 in equity. Now I only bought the property for $41,000 in terms of deposit costs, stamp duty, legal fees, pest and buildings. I'm now taking out $63,000 and I still own the property. I haven't sold it, I haven't paid tax, selling costs, agent fees or anything. I hold the property, refinance it, and I'm basically recycling the deposit that I've started off with, which was 100, and I only used 41 of it for that one. So I've actually got out more than I put into it. So I'm making money by buying a property and I'm getting more money back by holding on to the property. Yes, this is at 90% for you, those of you out there. Let's assume even you got to pay $8,000 in LMI. So let's assume that only goes down to, let's say, $55K that you get access to. So property one is done, let's say that. Let's say right away you buy a property for $265, which again, I've bought a property in the last few months for $265,000 myself. In Perth, that property ended up renting out for $470 a week in rent. That was only about 7 kilometers to Perth CBD. Modern style property unit, the owners paid like $350,000. We bought it below what they even bought it for 9 years ago. So buying in a really good market. Same again, 90% loan, doing a 10% deposit, paying the LMI, the loan becomes $238,000, bought it for $265, getting it valued at $335 because I bought it, these ones here, 70 grand under market value, 70, 70, 100, 60, 60. The 3 keys, which is buying a property under market value in a good metro location with strong cash flow, very good yield. Those are the very 3 basic keys. They seem basic, but it's extremely hard to do. I've been doing this for 10, 13, 15 years, and that's why I've been, all over the news because I've figured out this strategy. I know how the banks work, I know the system, I know the game, and this is what I do every single day. And that's how I've got 80 properties in my portfolio now, and I'm only 32. The same strategy with this second property, we're basically refinancing and we're recycling the deposit. So if you buy the property, let's say it takes a month to buy the property, and you can even settle it sooner if you've got the cash. Bought it for $265, got it valued at $335, topped the loan up to 90%, old loan, new loan, $63,000 out again. Let's just say minus 8K, which is probably gonna be less for lender's mortgage insurance. You cashed out another $55,000. And originally for this property deposit, like 260, like 10% for that, buying that property for 265 would only be, $26,500. Stamp duty, legal fees, probably was into it for like 50 as an example. So out of 100, how much is left? I spent 41 on the first property, then I spent 50, so I've got 9,000 left. But then I took out 55,000 and another 55,000, so I've got 110,000, and then I've got the 9,000 left as a little buffer. So I've got 119,000 in savings left, and I bought the 2 properties, got my money back out, and I've got more money than what I've started with. And this doesn't include if you can continue saving. If you're working and if you're saving, if you're living at home, or if, whatever it may be, you're trying to live frugal, you can continue saving. You don't just have to stop at 100K and then, use just the 100K to, recycle into more properties. But essentially, let's say you buy another property, but this one's maybe a bigger one. Maybe you want to buy a house. $557,000, I bought a duplex in Perth literally about 5 months ago. Ended up renting this property out for like $1,000 a week, like a 9% return. This property got it valued like a month after I bought it, and it was like $100,000 more. Not only are you buying a property and getting really good cash flow on it, you're buying them below what they're worth. So if you bought this one 70K under what it's worth, this one 70K under what it's worth, then this one 100K, you've got the deposits out of the first two back. So this one, let's assume you do a 90% loan, right? Your loan, as an example, 90% you can figure out would be about 500K. You put down 55,000 for the deposit. Stamp duty is probably about 23,000. Legal fees, pest to building. Let's assume that you spent all up about $80,000 in deposit to buy the 557K property. So out of 119 minus 80, you've still got $39,000 as an example left. 119 minus 80, you've got $39,000 as an example left. And let's assume you buy the next property for $245,000. You can even do as little as a 95%. Look, if you wanted to get aggressive, you could do all of these 95% loans. And there's many banks out there now that do 95% investment loans. But if you wanted to go aggressive, you could do 5% deposits for all of these. This one was a 10%, 10%, 10%. Let's even assume this one is a 5%. We start to get even more aggressive. We figure out the bank's policies. The banks out there that can do 5%, like ANZ right now do 5%. Commonwealth Bank do 5%, I'm pretty sure. Latrobe, Liberty, Granite, homeloans.com.au. There's many different banks and second and third tier lenders that allow investors the ability to do a 5% deposit. We've done a 5% on this one as an example, and we had 39,000 left. 5% of 245,000, what's that? 12,000, 13,000 as an example. Legal fees, pest and building, stamp duty, you're probably into it for 30 grand. So you've still got 9,000 left over in cash, in buffer. As you're buying all these properties, there's cash flow coming in. You're probably making $20 a week, $30 a week, $50 a week from each of them. Maybe they're breaking even. Maybe some are positive. Maybe some are negative. But they're cash flow neutral at the end of the day. You can claim things like council rates, water rates, management fees, insurance, all repairs, tax deductible when you are investing in property. So you've got 9K, but you've bought two properties and you bought this one 100K under what it's worth, this one 60K under what it's worth. You made 160,000. Again, I won't go into it, but if you refinance those right away, which I've refinanced properties, literally it settled one day and I refinanced it a week later, like days later. The moment it settled, the mortgage of the first property that settled didn't even go through yet, and I already got it valued 100K more, refinanced it, took the equity out and used it to leapfrog and recycle to another property deposit. You made 160,000, even if you just take half of it out. You take 80,000 out, you've got 80,000 plus 9, and that's more than enough to do a 20% deposit on the last property, which is 252. Out of all of them, as an example, one of the keys again is buying properties that are under market value. If you can either use a buyer's agent to help you out with this, which is what we do every day of the week, or you can research, learn, read books, do the courses, do mentorship programs, etc. Learn from others, people that have done this before, watch videos like this, watch the hundreds of other videos that we've got, and take it all for free. That's fine. It takes a lot of time and effort to do that, but if you can learn to do it like I have over the last decade plus, you can buy properties and make money on the way in instantly. So right now, as an example, the first property, let's say we bought it 70K under, second one 70K, 160 and 60. So if we basically add up all the equity that we've essentially made on the way into this, 70, 100, 60, 60, that's literally $360,000, which I put down here, that just by taking action and buying property, you've made over $250,000, $360,000. Let's assume we bought these really quick smart because we're a really smart investor, or we use a buyer's agent, or we've been researching for a lot of time. If the clock is ticking, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. If you add all these values up, now not the properties, the prices that we paid, but the prices that they're actually worth. So 240 we bought under market value was worth 310. 265 was worth 335,000. You add basically the equity that we made plus the purchase price, then you get your total value of property that you actually own at that time. So if you add all these properties up and the equity that we've made on them by buying in, then your portfolio is literally worth $1.919 million. So just under $2 million in real estate, and you've only bought 5 properties. Again, people might be thinking, Eddie, you're crazy. You've got all this debt though. You've got to look at the debt as an example, because this, we've added up all the loans as an example, 90%, but then we've took them up to 90, got equity out, and this one we've only done 80%, but your loans are literally 1.507. So you're under an 80% LVR because you bought them under market value. So if you take that and work out the percentage of that against that, you're about 73%. So even if you bought with a 5 or 10% deposit, if you buy under market value, not only are you making money on the way in, you're being safe. Because if you buy with a 5% deposit and you're buying 20% under what it's worth, your LVR is really 75%, not 95%, because you bought it under what it was worth. So if the market did come back and people say the market's going to crash or whatever it is, or there's a bubble, which there's not, but if they say that the market's going to come back 10 or 15%, well, that's fine because I bought 20% under what it was worth anyway. This strategy to me is you cannot fault this strategy, and that's why I've been doing it for so long. That's why I've been on television 1,000 times, and that's why, yeah, I've got over 80 properties in my portfolio because the strategy works. I've done it before, clients have done it. There's lots of testimonials all over the YouTube channel, the website, etc. Check them out. If you don't believe, you don't have to watch a video. Do your hateful comment, that's fine, go away. For those of you that want to learn this and are a believer, you know, I'll show you this kind of strategy that you can use. You might not do it in 5 years, you might do it in 3 years, you might do it in 10 years, you might do it in 20 years. This is just purely an example. It's very similar to what I did myself. I didn't just use equity though, so this is assuming we bought 5 properties and we haven't saved anymore. When I was getting started, I want you to remember, I'd buy a property, I'd continue saving. I'd work another job. I'd work 2, 3 jobs. I'd work at night. I'd work during the day. I would work 2 jobs to try to save more money. And I would live very frugal. I lived off cans of tuna. That's not fun. But thankfully today, don't have to do that anymore. It's all good. Let's say it's year 1. You've bought the properties in a few months as an example, which I've seen people buy 7 properties in a month. For those of you who don't believe that, you can definitely do that. You just need to educate yourself and learn more about property investing. Your total portfolio is worth just under 2 million. That's your debt. Now, again, the rents for all these are 8, 9% yield, so they're covering the debt and then some. Some people can go interest only or principal and interest. Let's assume for this scenario, you're going interest only for the first 5 years. So let's not even assume that we're paying down the properties at all as an example. You're just doing them on interest only, which there's no right or wrong whether you go interest only or principal and interest, but let's assume you're going interest only. Cash flow from the properties, like this property here, 557, it's running out for 1,000 a week. This one's a 265. Pretty sure it's running off like 450 a week. 245, pretty sure I got like $470 a week in rent. So 8, 9%. A few of them as an example, I showed to clients, they didn't want to buy them. I bought them myself. Year 2 as an example. Now with this strategy, this is doing it in 5 years. It's having a portfolio and having the compound effect of percentage growth and compound growth over time. Now, if you Google on your phone right now, on the computer, what is the average Australian property house compound growth over time? It will say usually over the last like 30 years of property growth, it's 6.8%. They'll say it's 6.8% per year is what property prices generally go up. And of course, you've got some years that explode and go 25% up, and you've got other years that go minimal 1 or 2%. But if you average it out, it's 6.8%, but even let's just do the calculations of 6%. And when I did this strategy, and if you look back at some of the videos from 2, 3, 4 years ago, I did this strategy and I wasn't getting 6%. And what I do as well is I don't just aim for markets that are gonna go up just 6% per year. I also try to time the market in terms of what state will realistically have the most amount of growth in the shortest amount of time. I did this in Brisbane as an example. We were buying properties all throughout Brisbane, different council regions, like 2, 3, 4 years ago. And if you look at those videos, we were buying properties for like 190,000, houses for 300,000, 400,000, and they've all literally doubled within 3 years. So they haven't just gone up 6%, they've gone up like 100% within the last 3 years, all throughout Queensland. To all the people that are watching this video, you might say, well, that seems crazy, but if you look back in the videos on YouTube from 2017, 2018, 2019, I literally said that that was gonna happen in Brisbane. Sure enough, it did. So I believe again that it's going to happen in Perth, where we're going to see literally not just average kind of growth. I believe in Perth over the next 3 to 4 years, we'll probably see 40 to 50%, if not more growth. Could be another cycle of 70, 80%, because it's the last affordable capital city. But without going too much into that, if you calculate basically, I don't know if there's a calculator here, but if you calculate just under 2 million, 1.19 as an example, times by 0.06, you get 2,034,000. So basically it's showing you, if you just keep timesing it by 1.06, which is 1.06% growth per year, year 2, your portfolio will go from 1.19 to 2.03. Year 3, it will go from 2.28 million. Year 4, 2.42 million. Year 5, it'll be worth 2.568 million. So just over 2.5 million the portfolio will be worth in literally year 5. And that is assuming the growth is just an average of 6%. How to become a property millionaire in a sense, if your total value of your portfolio is worth 2.568, what was the original loans worth? 1.507. What's 2.5 minus 1.5 plus change is $1,000,061,054. Literally $1 million in net equity in 5 years just by doing a strategy like this. And that's assume that after year 1, you haven't done anything. Let's say you didn't buy property year 2, you didn't buy property year 3, 4 or 5, you just stopped at 4 properties. If it was me, I wouldn't just stop. I obviously didn't stop. I kept buying and buying and buying and buying. And then instead of the portfolio with 2 million, it went to 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. And now it's like $50 million plus. Because I kept buying and because I believe in the strategy, I've tried and tested it, so on and so forth. And I diversified in different states and different markets like, Queensland and Sydney and Adelaide and now Perth and different states. That's a quick example that if you build a portfolio, like it doesn't necessarily have to be as well just 5 properties. These are affordable properties, and I'm showing you affordable properties now because anyone can get into that and anyone can get started. Like you could buy your first property. If you're a person that's on $35,000 of income, I can guarantee that you would have the borrowing capacity to buy that property because that property would rent out for you $380, almost $400 a week, and your loan would only be $216. Your borrowing capacity could get you started on that journey right there. Way to make $1 million in 5 years, literally starting with $100,000. And again, during this time, your equity is essentially increasing over time. So it's going up not from just 300,000, it's going up to 400,000 in equity, 500,000 in equity, 600, 700, 800. You hit $1 million in net equity. Even in a year's time after that, if you wanted to sell your properties, pay a couple fees, selling agent fees, tax or whatever, even in year 6, you'd have $1 million sitting in your bank account at maybe year 6 as an example, or 6.5 or 7. That's assuming you pay tax and selling agent fees as well. I personally wouldn't sell any of them. I would just keep the properties, take out the equity and keep rolling it forward as an example. And then if you get to, let's say, instead of just 1 million, let's say you get to a portfolio that's not 2.5, let's say it's worth 20 million as an example. You pull out a line of credit and you pull out 5 million, just have it sitting in a bank account. No tax because you pulled it out tax-free because you just recycled the debt and pulled the debt out. This is a very real strategy that I've seen lots of clients do. I know a number of clients off the top of my head, tens, dozens, that have started off, they bought a property through my assistance with the buyer's agency assistance back in like 2018, 2019. They picked up a townhouse as an example, or a house in Queensland, in Brisbane, and Ipswich, or Logan. Picked up a townhouse for like 240. It's worth 450,000 now. They bought a house as an example in Ipswich for 265. Now it's worth 550,000 in like 3 years. Same thing. This is very conservative, if anything. 6% average growth. It's literally just compound effect of growth in numbers. I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, comment below. You probably will. Can't wait to see the good comments and the bad comments. Smash the subscribe button. And if you have any other questions about this, even feel free to give us a call, my team a call, send us an email. It is possible. Make over $1 million within 5 years, starting with just $100,000. So if you've got close to 100K, within the next 5 years, you'll be a millionaire in property. If you're 25 years old, by 30, you're a millionaire. If by 35, you're a millionaire in property, whatever it may be. And that's only if you just buy 5 properties. 5 properties, and that's it. It's if you stop at 5 properties. I would continue going. There's another video, if you can see, it shows you how to buy 10 properties within 3 years if you just continue recycling the equity out. Now, for all of you that have questions about finance in regards to this, you're saying, how do you get finance for this? It's a combination of many things. It's about making sure the properties have very good rental yields for one. These have 8-9%. If you don't have 8-9%, it's not going to work. It's about working with a mortgage broker that knows how to play the finance game. If you need help with a mortgage broker, contact us, comment below, or send us through an email or message. Jump on the website. We can put you in contact with a broker that has not just 5 properties, but like 8 to 19 properties. You can chat with the team that have multiple properties, or myself that has over 80 properties. And we can explain more thoroughly how you can do this strategy if this is something you're interested in. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.